Welcome to Happily Ever After, the podcast where we dive into life's big stories. Everything from breakups and breakdowns to buried secrets and triumphant happy endings. It's the stuff that makes us human. I'm your host, Hannah Harvey, author of How to Divorce Sober. I'm a mentor, award-winning blogger, yoga instructor, and in a past life, a fully qualified civil engineer. You can find me at hannahharvey.uk or on Instagram at hannahharveyuk. I absolutely love to hear from you, so please get in touch with your stories, thoughts, or questions. But for now, get cozy, settle in, and let's dive into your next chapter of Happily Ever After. Hello, it's me, Hannah, and today I'm joined by one of my most popular podcast guests of all time, Amber Horrox. Hi, Amber.
Hi, thank you for having me back.
Oh, I'm so excited for this. We're going to do a two-parter because I've got so much to talk to you about. But basically, this time last year, we got together because I was having a bit of a crisis in my love life and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And you paved a way, basically, and demonstrated that it is possible to actually just not be in a relationship. Who knew?
Oh, I didn't know before I had one, though. Yeah, who knew?
Exactly. So the episode was obviously massively popular. I don't know if it's because it had the word sex in the title. Sex ban. It was episode 57 and it's been downloaded like literally all over the world. The Americans loved it.
Wow.
And in like Canada and Germany, just all over the place. I'm just looking at the stats yesterday and I was like, wow, that was a good one.
Amazing.
So, yeah, I guess the main thing for me was that it was a real relief to know that you can just say, I'm not going to do this for a while. Because I guess at the time I was like, just desperately searching. Like I really wanted to have somebody special in my life. And then I wasn't enjoying the dating apps. I wasn't meeting the right kind of people. And I'm like, what is this? Like I'm doing all the right steps. I know what I'm looking for. I'm doing all the manifesting. Why is it not happening? So yeah, having you come on and just talking all about your process, because it was like 2 years for you or longer?
2.5 years in the end, yeah. Similar. I thought it'd be about a year, but yeah, it went on a little bit longer than I imagined it might.
And yeah, and then you managed to like manifest the perfect guy into your life. And is that still going well?
Yeah, he was introduced to me as a wonderful man by someone who'd known him kind of most of his life, and that is what I came to find out. He really is a wonderful man.
Oh, well, I hope you don't mind, but I wanted to share some of my thoughts on what I kind of learned from the dating ban, and just see if that resonates with you too.
Yeah, I'm all ears.
Yeah, great. This is going to be like therapy. I felt like I was like, I didn't know it at the time, but I was obviously like, just like I said, this desperate search for looking for the one. And it was then knowing that, not realizing I hadn't processed a whole bunch of things to do with kind of unhealthy relationships, I guess. So repeating the same sort of patterns. And it was that learning how to kind of not do that anymore. Do you know what I mean?
I do, in what it's bringing up for me is in respect of like sacrificing myself, sacrificing my own needs, my own wants, and not really being clear on those.
Yeah. And I found it was almost like by not trusting the universe, like desperately searching is like the opposite of being like, I'm in trust of what is going to come. It was like I was giving all of my power then to like dating apps and somebody else to find me this person, rather than just sitting back and being like, oh, they'll just come to me.
It's a lot easier that way. I certainly found it a lot easier that way. Just sitting back and letting them come to me.
Yeah. And what you were saying there about like not putting your needs and your wants first, that was a big thing that I learned, that I was like, I actually didn't feel good enough at the time because I was so busy being like, I need somebody else to come and make me feel good enough. Does that make sense? That whole like external validation, if that person comes along, then that'll prove that I'm okay now.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think we've been modelled and taught that in society as well, haven't we? That one other person, as particularly in the romantic sense, is responsible for that, for making us feel good, for making us feel enough, for bringing us joy and happiness. When really it's a big lesson to learn that that can all come from within. And then that significant other can actually complement those feelings and that enoughness in ourselves and add to it rather than be responsible for bringing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a crucial thing, being like, oh, this, you can't rely on other people to make you happy. It has to come from within. It has to. It's too much pressure to put on one person to be like, you're here to make me happy. How can they ever live up to that?
Absolutely.
Because there's going to be bumps along the road, especially if you're in a healthy relationship.
Oh, yeah.
There are going to be bumps, but it's the healthy bit is, how do you respond to that?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's
Can't wait to talk to you about that bit.
my new ebook that's coming out, Unleashing My Inner Power, that covers a lot of that, in particularly the first year that we've shared together. And absolutely what you just said, the bumpy bits that come up and how you show up for that, I suppose, in the first instance, and then respond to that and present yourself with one another in a way that you're not people pleasing.
Yeah.
And that you're not trying to be the one that's making the other person happy and taking all the responsibility for their happiness. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. That is a really tricky, probably good, kind of working through that at the moment now. So, yeah, the other thing I found is that it was almost like an addiction to finding somebody new.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah.
You know, when you're swiping all the time, it like makes me feel a bit ill thinking about it now, because it was almost like drugs, the feeling of like, when you first get back on the app, there's quite a lot of action. There's people messaging you. I'm assuming it must be dopamine,
That's what was coming to my mind, the dopamine hits,
but it like surges and you forget to eat and you,
the instant gratification.
yeah. And just swiping, and every time you get a new like, you're like, oh, surges again. And so it was in times when it was the times when something would happen within me to make me go, oh, I feel a bit shit. And I was like, right, I'm not dating. I'm not on any apps. It was those times that I noticed that my brain would be like, maybe you should download the apps again. That'll make you feel better. The same way it might have done for alcohol in the past.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, you're interesting.
And how did you respond to that then? How did you support yourself during those times you felt like that?
I guess it was just a noticing and being like, oh, that's funny that you're suggesting that I should do that. This time last year, I was walking a lot and getting in the sea a lot. I was getting in every day. Do you remember?
Yeah.
So generally, my response would be, if a feeling came up like that, and I'm like, or I'm obviously not feeling good about myself, I'd notice it and then go for a walk or go get in the sea or connect with friends. But it wasn't natural. For a while, it was like, oh, I feel really sad and I'm not even dating anybody, so they can't make me feel better. Did you get things like that? Did you have experiences of that, or were you just flat, I'm cold turkeying this?
I think for me, bringing into it the health issues that I had at the time, I had, I was dealing with kind of severe ill health and chronic ill health, and kind of navigating my way through the turbulence of all that. making the drastic changes that I did, that when that sex ban came along, that was, for me personally, that was another one of those big drastic changes that I was already on board with. So I did feel very much like for a long time that I didn't even have the health, the energy, or the inclination to go on the dating apps anyway, just because that's how it aligned at that time, that I didn't really have the capacities to do that. And I think I was so intent as well. Like, I was so intent of like, I am on a sex ban, and that does include not going looking or any apps. Those kind of boundaries, I suppose, I was very, very boundaried, and
Yeah.
found it kind of quite fairly straightforward to stay true to them. But I was already on a heck of a journey anyway with my health, so that definitely helped. The fact that that was the priority, and I didn't really have much capacity outside of that anyway, other than to continue on and keep doing the deep inner work that I was doing.
Yeah. I guess I was surrounded by quite a lot of men at the time, so there was still that feeling of like, oh, there's a lot to pull your attention in different directions.
That really, really helped, because I moved to the country in the middle of nowhere and lived in a village, and yeah, thinking back, that made a huge difference, like massive. The kind of, yeah, the distractions and it actually being physically around me, and the barrier, they were removed from me. So yeah, that definitely helped, because there were times when I would come across someone, I'd be like, oh, is he single?
Yeah. Would you still think that, even though you're on your ban?
On rare occasions, if I came across somebody, like if I'd met a friend and they had someone, one of their partner's friends was visiting them, I'd be like, oh, is he single? Even knowing that that person just wouldn't, they just wouldn't be in alignment, or, what I was looking
Oh,
for. I
good.
would still, yeah, there were 2 or 3 occasions where I piped up, oh, is he single, sort of
Oh,
thing.
good. Okay, that
So
makes me
yeah,
feel
I
slightly
suppose
better.
that
I'm
is still
like,
there, and the fact that I moved myself.
yeah. Yeah, that does make me feel a little bit better, because I was like, God, was I...
We want connection as well, don't we?
Yeah, you do want connection, definitely.
We want connection. We want to be liked. We want to be loved. That's healthy.
My new book, How to Divorce Sober, is out now. It's basically everything I needed to get through addiction and divorce in one place. With fairy tale symbolism and tons of practical advice, you'll learn how to be free, build a strong support system, and embrace a positive future. You can grab How to Divorce Sober on Amazon today. It's available in print, ebook, and audiobook, narrated by yours truly. So the next thing I noticed was how much time I got back, which is similar to when I quit drinking. It was like, oh, I've now got all this time to not think about drinking. I can do other things.
Wow.
So I guess for you, you were on your health journey, and you were very focused, and you used your time for that. And I guess for me, I was really focused on just this urge that I had to get in the sea. I didn't know why I was doing it. I just knew I needed to. And I think that was just a huge gift at the time, to have something to channel your energy into.
Wow, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, because it does create a space, doesn't it? And it is a space to do something for you. All those things that we're telling ourselves we haven't got enough time for, that creates up a huge space, whether, like you say, it's the drinking, the giving up drinking, the dating apps. For me, in my case, it was recovery. There was just so much more space and time and room, and all my energy could go into my recovery. It's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could also be quite disconcerting. So I guess it was within that time, because I was co-parenting at the time. So I had half the time with the kids where it was really intense, half the time when I didn't. And it's in those quiet moments that you'll feel sad and you'll feel lonely. And actually it's kind of an opportunity to go, oh, why do I feel sad? Why do I feel lonely? And what patterns are my brain presenting to me as a solution?
Yeah, that's a really good one. Thinking about it, actually, that did some emotional regulation work did coincide um, that time when during that time when I was on a sex ban for about a year. I was very dysregulated with my emotions, so it took me a lot of work and a lot of daily practice in sitting with those emotions and identifying what they actually were and how I truly felt. And then always asking myself that question, okay, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling irritated or annoyed or whatever the range of feelings are. How can I support how I feel?
Yeah. And protect yourself when you know you're going to feel sad. So what, like you say, you removed yourself and took yourself to the countryside. That was like
Mm,
extreme protection of your boundaries and what you wanted to do.
it was, yeah, it was a big change from the city, but it definitely helped. It definitely helped to remove me from all the men that were around me when I was living in Newcastle.
Yeah. Um, it gave me an opportunity to really notice my cycle and how much my hormones fluctuated. So during ovulation, it was like, well, actually, I'll start the other way around. Just after I ovulate, I'm like much calmer, more settled in myself and what I'm doing. And also during bleed, all fine. As soon as I finished bleeding, I was like a rabid dog. I need attention. Somebody needs to impregnate me, even though I never want to have babies ever again, you know?
Yeah.
So fascinating to watch that.
Oh, yeah. Again, very natural though. Very natural, very normal, very healthy. It's what we do with that energy, I guess, isn't it? And how we use that energy.
And protecting yourself. It would be like, right, I'm not allowed to go on Instagram this week. Because even that was a danger, you know?
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. I mean, it's not even just dating apps, is it? It's there's access to it everywhere.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing I noticed was how much apps in general try to keep you addicted to them. You know, that's their main job, is how do we keep eyes on the screen. So particularly like taking a break from dating apps helped me see how much of an impulse it becomes to be like, oh, I'm going to check. And yeah, it's not how I want to fall in love. Like literally window shopping lots of people.
Yeah, it's a great realization to have, isn't it? Like I loved what you said there. That is not how I want to fall in love. You know, like through the addiction of the apps and consuming by somebody else's kind of methods and ways.
Yeah, and I think it's not to say that I judge anybody who does, because I think some people can go on and use it in a way that is quite healthy.
Yeah.
But I just know for me, that does not work.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people who've met on the apps and are really happy and have gone on to, get married and have children and fulfill their dreams and what they want and what they're looking for. It's just, yeah, it wasn't like that for me either.
So yeah, it's I think it's fine to say like you just don't have to do it that way, because it can feel when you're single that is literally the only way you're ever going to meet anybody. Which brings me nicely on to my next point, which is how I met my boyfriend, which is like the slow dating way, because I'd made it quite public, I'm not dating. It meant that I was able to then take my time and pressure was off. Like I didn't have to go on a date because just the name of date gives pressure to me that I'm going to have to people please in some way. I'm going to have to kiss somebody. I might have to have sex with them before I'm ready. My body might tell me I'm ready because it's actually so hardwired to people please that I don't even know which bits what I want and which bits the part of me that's in self-preservation mode, you know?
Gosh, I hear everything. Oh my gosh. I hear everything you said there. I can relate to all of that. Every word, absolutely every word. The first date we went on, we decided not to call it a date. We decided to call it a meeting just to see how we got on with a view to then look into that afterwards. Everything, like the wait until the body's ready for everything, all of it. Yeah. really, really relate to all of what you've just said.
Yeah. So, yeah, in real life, it's like, oh, I'm just going for a walk with my friend. And we were both into sea dipping. He had a dog. And it was like, there was clearly some kind of attraction there, but it was like no pressure, which was so much better for me because I could be like, I'm just going to take my time and make sure that this person is who I think they are and who I would like them to be. And, you know, check off all of the things that I'd put in my relationship ethics, which is something Amber and I talk about quite a lot in episode 57. So go and have a look at that. But it's basically where you write out exactly what you want. So yeah, I was able to go through and be like, is this exactly what I'm looking for or not? And to be honest, before we even had our first kiss, I'd probably already fallen in love with him.
Wow, that's amazing.
Because we'd just taken our time.
Really wonderful.
It's nice. I think it's nice that there's evidence that you can still do it that way if you're willing to take time to make sure that you're happy within yourself first.
And that we have a choice as well, you know, that we have a choice. We can choose the pace at which it goes and what we want.
Yeah, I think after heartbreak, it's really easy to be like, yeah, like I'm on the shelf now and I might never find anybody again. It's that sort of feeling of desperation, but that's not the case at any stage in your life, and it never has to be. Like, you do not need somebody else in your life to make you good enough. You already are.
I hope that's the message we can all start to learn and receive, that we're good enough just as we are.
Takes time though, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the last thing I've got is being alone is not the worst thing in the world. Being with the wrong person is.
Absolutely, yeah. Being alone, you're never alone because you've always got yourself for company. That was quite a big lesson I learned towards the very end, in probably the last 6 months. That actually I wasn't alone because I had me. I was there. And actually I was quite good company, and I could learn to date myself and do some of the things that I wanted to do on my own.
Yeah, definitely. If you think of all of the times that we put our energy into helping others and healing others and just making other people feel better, if you can put even just a little bit of that energy into yourself and healing your own heart and your own mind and just doing the stuff you want to do, it would make such a big difference to so many people's lives, I think.
Very much so.
So that's what I learned, Amber.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing all that with me, because I can really relate to all of what you've shared. Yeah.
Well, I just really appreciate how much how honest and open you were last year about it all, because I think it's something that you say, it's like we've got to change the paradigms about pretending that it's fictional characters that are doing that, because it's real life people, and people, other women need evidence that it is possible to do this, and you don't need somebody else in your life to make you a complete whole person. Well, thank you so much, Amber. Will you come back again, please? And we will talk about how your life has been since. Yay!
Oh, yes, please. Absolutely, yes, please. Thank you so much for having me again. It's so good to be here.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. All the details you need are in the show notes, so be sure to check those out. If you're enjoying the podcast, please do hit the subscribe button and leave a review. It really helps more people find the show. And if you know someone who'd love these stories, feel free to share it with them too. As you know, I love hearing from you, so please do reach out on Instagram @HannahHarveyUK or through my website, hannahharvey.uk.